Hello, Pack! And we are here to do a nerdy nuances. So, I mentioned it, Batman versus Superman. The tale as old as time when it comes to DC Comics. Which one is better? And as I do in my personal perspectives video, I'm going to give both sides of the argument. So, watch the whole video to hear both sides. Now, that is not always the format I use for nerdy nuances. It won't be, but in this case it is. So, we'll start with my favorite, Batman. So, what makes Batman better than Superman? 1, no powers. He is completely powerless, yet has the ability to defeat enemies immensely more powerful and more skilled, yet he is smarter, more cunning, and just don't give up. Like, you know, he can be bleeding, bullet shot, and he gonna keep pushing. And, you know, that's, you know, Batman for you. Then, you know, you add his tragic storyline, you know, orphaned at a young age. And, you know, you get a little bit of feels for him, especially if you watched Gotham. And then he's got Alfred. And Alfred is awesome. Former, was it MIB? MI6, Men in Black. My bad, wrong universe. Former MI6 agent, clever, skilled, strong in morals. He is like the moral backbone of helping Bruce define his code, his ethics. Is just that, you know, he was raised by Alfred. So you have to say, you know, yeah, for the 10 years or so, his parents had that role, but during his teenage years, who was there? Alfred. And then taking into the fact that Bruce trained his body to pretty much like Captain America state. Like, he is human perfection on like martial arts skills and things like that, which I really feel like the cartoons and the comics have to dumb him down, because if he's really as good as his training and everything else is supposed to be, no one would be able... Joker wouldn't be able to stand a chance. It has to be, you know, like Darkseid and, you know, these crazy the Hulk, you know, kind of people. I know, I'm mixing Marvel and DC, I know that. But, you know, you would have to get these super overpowered people to beat him. And so they always have to, like, finagle him into a little more believable by having him either make a mistake or just be distracted, you know, so that he can get hurt. And it's just, it does seem like they dumb him down a lot. And, you know, to make it where he, you know, it's always more exciting when the good guys get captured, get hurt, you know, brainwashed and turned evil. Looking at you, Superman. I'll get to him in a minute. And so another thing that makes Batman really just better than Superman is his code. His morals, that he would not cross that line. And spoiler alert, fast forward about 15 seconds or so, Superman kills. And it's not just in the Injustice, it's not just in that. It's like he's just... And I know, you go back to the original Batman kills. That's just a fact. Batman did. There was a time he used a gun, and, you know, you go to some of the comics, yes. But Batman, as he stands now, his morals is he will not cross that line. That's the big thing for Batman. And so he may have made mistakes in the past or did things he thought he had to do, but he's the one who stands against the other people, even good guys, who cross that line. He's like, okay, like, another spoiler alert, fast forward 15 seconds. When Superman kills Joker, I think Batman would have forgiven him and said, okay, let's move on. But Superman went on a kick and continued that path. And Batman's like, no, ain't gonna happen. So I don't believe that he is completely, there is never a reason to kill. But I do believe he is, like, there may be extenuating circumstances where you let the bad guy die, or you don't save them, or you do end up taking their life to save for the greater good. However, that is an extreme rarity. That is not the norm. In any other circumstance and situation, it should be avoided. And especially if the enemy is defeated, captured, imprisoned. So, that's Batman. There's a million more things I could probably say, him picking Robin as a sidekick, and, some people can use that as a good and a bad thing. But, speaking of Robin, Dick Grayson, let's go over to Superman. One thing that endeared Superman to me was Nightwing actually got his name from Superman. Superman told Nightwing about a hero on his planet and his home world named Nightwing. And in honor of this hero, and Superman being like the surrogate big uncle, kind of lovable lug that he is, took him under his wing, so to speak, and really helped Dick get the emotional support that he was not getting from Bruce. And he was getting it from Alfred, but he needed, more positive male role models in his life. And so he got different aspects from different people. And, a man who could literally pretty much destroy the planet, taking time to spend with him as, a young man, is just, that's astronomical. And so that's another thing that makes, in some ways, Superman better than Batman. Is Superman, despite all his power, will slow down, take the time, forget about a mission, forget about the whole saving the world thing, and be present with people, with those he loves. He'll actually have a family. And Bruce won't. He shuns his family for the mission. Everything for the mission, for the mission, for the mission. No. Superman says, no, what good is the mission if I don't ever love anyone? And so, yeah, there's times when he has to sacrifice his relationships, but he still, has a relationship with his mom. He still goes to see her all the time. He makes time for people whenever he can. And so when there's not something devastating and life-threatening, he does it. And that's just who he is. And, he may have all this power, but he didn't ask for it. He was born with it. And that's another thing that makes Superman better, is he had a destiny put on him, and he didn't choose that destiny. Bruce, he had choice. He chose his destiny. Yes, he didn't control what happened to his parents, but he chose to become Batman. He chose to not let his pain heal. Clark didn't have a choice. He was stuck in this rock and a hard place. He wanted to be this normal person, have a normal life, but there was a greater call, and he had to step up and take it. And that caused him a lot of pain, a lot of turmoil, a lot of sacrifices. And I don't think he enjoys actually being seen as a god. In fact, it goes against his humble upbringing. And he has to try and be there and be a role model for people, but at the same time he's like, I'm not a god. I am a person who just wants to show that we can be better than we are. I want to be a symbol and a role model. And because of that, it puts a lot of burden on him. And he has a very loving heart. And he is incredibly compassionate. So compassionate that the things he sees in this world breaks his heart. And he sees all the suffering and all the struggles. And, you know, I know they're going with a darker, grittier Superman, but the true Superman, the true essence of Superman, yes, he can be dark, he can be gritty, he can, you know, do whatever he needs to do, but he genuinely cares about all of the people of the world. And he has all this power and doesn't abuse it. And I think the main reason, and I'm going to say this and it's going to make a lot of Batman fans mad, I think the main reason Batman doesn't trust him, I'm not saying it's not wise because Superman has gone evil before, but the reason Batman does not trust him is because if Batman had all of that power, he knows it would corrupt him. He knows he doesn't have the morals to avoid the corruption, just like Lex Luthor doesn't. And it's not the saying Bruce is a bad guy. Power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. It is beyond, it's not fathomable that that power hasn't corrupted Superman. And it's a testimony to his parents, not his biological parents. They, you know, I'm not saying they're bad people, but they weren't part of his life. It's a testimony to Jonathan and Martha Kent. They raised him to be salt of the earth, honest, humble. And because of the way he was raised, because of the values instilled at him at a young age, it helped him handle seeing this power not as something to aid himself, but something to be used to help others. And when you think about it, Batman is actually very selfish. And that's why Superman is better than Batman. Because Batman, his mission is a selfish mission. Superman's is a selfless mission. Batman wants revenge. He wants to harden his heart, never heal, and just punish evil. Superman wants the world to become a better place. Very contrary. And that's no surprise that they're at odds a lot of time. But also why they make some of the best of friends. Because Superman sees that mission that he needs to be mindful of in Batman. And Batman sees that heart, that loving heart of compassion and emotion towards family and even strangers that he needs to be mindful of. And that's why I think Robin was an important part of Batman's character development, because it kept him a little more compassionate. But they fed off each other. And so, what do you think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Which one really is better? Because, I mean, they both have their pros and cons. I'm focusing on the positive. I could blast them with all their negativeness, but I'm trying to keep more positivity in the world instead of negativity. And so, what do you think? Comment, like, subscribe, give a thumbs down if you didn't like it. What do you think? Be honest, and don't forget, howl at the moon. Bye.